town. Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol? Yeah, I'm back.
Ho ho ho, you jolly bastards, and welcome to my so-called sleigh ride of a show. Santa Claus, Father Christmas, jolly old Saint Nick, that random guy dressed as Santa puking up an entire nights of alcoholic poisons as well as some undigested doner kebab meat. Yes, the various names of one man that brings joy to the hearts of many of the spoilt little brats who only love him when he gives out presents, the little pricks. He's a man you can't help but think of Christmas whenever he shows up.
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me.
And with many portrayals of him over the years, I decided to choose one film about the jolly red man that many people seem to go back to every year, and that is Los Santa Claus, starring the always likeable Tim Allen. But after 30 years since its release, was it really good, or has the nostalgia clouded our judgment? Well, slutty Mrs. Clauses and alky Santas, let's find out as we dive into The Santa Claus. Released in November 1994, The Santa Claus tells the story of Scott Calvin, played by Tim Allen, a marketing director for a toy company who's ready to spend Christmas with his son Charlie, played by Eric Lloyd. Unfortunately, things aren't going well as he makes a complete turkey of the turkey and has to drive to Denny's for their Christmas Eve meal. And to make things worse, he accidentally gets Santa Claus killed.
You killed him!
Did not.
But enough of weighing up the fact a guy is dead. Time to move on with a plot. The body disappears, and all that's left is his outfit, which leads to Scott and Charlie making a choice to go around the world delivering the presents. And after stopping off at the North Pole, Scott learns that by putting on the suit, he is to become the new Santa Claus within a year. And as the months go on, Scott starts to turn more and more into jolly old Saint Nick, but unfortunately Charlie's mum and Scott's ex-wife Laura, played by Wendy Colson, and Neil, played by a very smug Judge Reinhold, become increasingly worried about his sanity, which threatens Scott's chances of ever seeing Charlie again. The Santa Claus is actually fun. It's not the greatest film ever, but I do have a soft spot for it. It knows what it is and does what it's supposed to do. Just give us a whimsical, magical Disney film about Santa Claus, featuring all the things we love about the man: the North Pole, the reindeers, the elves, and the presents full of spoilt little brats that deserve a clip around the ear. But it also incorporated new things, offering a fresh take on what we know and loved about the character as kids. I like the fact the elves now look like kids, the houses without fireplaces magically forms. I even like that even the bag refills once Santa reaches his next destination. Tim Allen is very likeable as Scott Calvin and plays the transition from cynical workaholic arsehole dad to a traditional jolly fat guy with ease. Even when he's a cynical grouch, he still somehow manages to be very likeable and never comes across not once as mean-spirited.
How come you don't have a beard?
Because I shaved. Do you want this doll or not? Go back to sleep.
And when he finally embraces being Santa Claus, he really fucking convinces. Not once does he look like he's phoning it in. He is putting his heart and soul into the role. And yet, even when he starts off as a rubbish father, you can still tell he loves his son. And when his rights to custody is taken, you see the heartbreak he's going through. Eric Lloyd may not have been the best child actor, but he still does okay as Charlie. He brings enough innocence, and I do buy the relationship between him and Scott. The kid even helps Scott get out of his depression, showing him how important he is to all the kids all over the world. It's a nice moment that also leads to another emotional moment later on. Wendy Paulson is okay as Laura, and Judge Reinhold is surprisingly punchable as smug psychiatrist Neil, but credit where it's due, they do give him some moments that humanise him. And even David Grumholtz convinces as head elf Bernard. Even with those goofy elf duds surrounded by these camp and colourful surroundings, I still buy him as an authoritative figure, at least as far as elves are concerned. And he still manages to be likeable too. Can he be a little syrupy? Maybe. Sometimes the humour can be a little childish, but I did still get some laughs from Alan. But while it's not the smartest, it still has a lot of heart. The relationship between Scott and Charlie is touching, and the visuals are dripping in that magical, whimsical atmosphere you expect from a Christmas movie. So overall, it's a fun, passable couple of hours with the family, with enough charm to leave the biggest grouch feeling as jolly as the fat man himself. So that was week 2 of Jingle Balls. Next up, Actually, let's get them all out the way with, but not for too long. I've got booze to drink and bridges to burn. The Santa Claus 2 sees Tim Allen return as Scott/Santa, and now he must find himself a wife. So he returns home and after some disastrous dates, ends up dating Charlie's principal, Carol, played by Lost MILF Elizabeth Mitchell.
MILF! MILF!
And while he's away, one of the elves builds a robot Santa that starts off perfect but then goes berserk. And it's actually better than I thought. It's not as good as the first, but passable enough. Allen and Mitchell do have some chemistry, and seeing them together, surrounded by all these Christmassy visuals, does add to the romance.
You sound like a gay.
But enough of that gay shit. The film is at its best when Allen goes full nutjobbers robot Santa, putting every kid on the naughty list and being an unapologetic arsehole.
Come on! Put a smile on that face, little troll!
Hey, wait, I got a little joke. Just to cheer you up. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Aren't you?
Aren't you who?
Aren't you supposed to get back to work? All of you little idiots! Back to work!
I love it. It's not the funniest, but like the first one, it knows what it is. Allen Mitchell are sweet. Allen really looks like he's enjoying himself as Santa. And there are much worse ways to spend a couple of hours. Speaking of which, the Santa Claus, the escape clause, is pretty fucking lame. Jesus fucking H Christ, I've never seen such a half-assed, boring, unfunny, convoluted, load of humbug. Actually, this might make this unintentionally funny. Here Santa is about to become a father again, but he's got the in-laws over at the North Pole, who think it's Canada, yet they don't question why people aren't being euthanized, and he gets tricked into handing his title to Jack Frost, played by Martin Short, where he ends up going back in time to an alternate life where he didn't become Santa, lost his family to being a workaholic, and has to set things back to normal, and it's really all over the place. I mean, to its credit, the sets still look decent, the actors are trying their best, but they're given nothing to work with. Even the kids playing the elves look fucking miserable. They look like someone forced them at gunpoint to star in this fucking movie.
Sing!
I shall do no such thing.
You must sing. If you don't, they'll make you do a Christmas movie with Tim Allen.
It's a tiny, tiny world.
Which actually may be unintentionally hilarious, I don't know, I'm a sick fuck. Even in the outtakes, everyone is awkward.
I'm built for speed and comfort.
Frost, he turned the North Pole into an amusement park. Why is that funny? North Pole? Is my fly down? Frost. Is my acting somehow humorous to you?
What am I watching? I don't know, but I hate it.
So unless it gets you a few laughs over how awkward it is, this isn't worth ruining your Christmas over. But hey, just when you thought it was over, Disney decided to make this into a show, and it's surprisingly an improvement. The Santa Clauses sees Allen return as Scott, but for some reason, he's losing his magic and has to find a suitable replacement. And like I said, it's an improvement over 3. Allen and Mitchell still have great chemistry, there's corny gags and a nice little message on how Christmas being problematic is problematic. Jesus Christ, a Disney show with an open Republican as the lead, praising how special Christmas is, commissioned by a woke cult Marxist company.
No way!
And also introduces us to Gary. Gary fucking rules. It expands on this universe while also commenting on how modernising Christmas can rob it of what makes it special. So check it out. It's a little safe and a little bland at times, and adults may groan a little bit, but there's enough whimsical Christmas cheer to keep the children entertained. So that was week 2 of Northern English Bastards. Jingle Balls. Next up,
The Star Wars Holiday Special.
No!